Hello, my name is Raymond Karczewski. This is coming to you from my home here in Cave Junction, Oregon. The subject for tonight is titled, Look the Devil in the Eye and Give Him His Due. It would seem that the people of America have been dumbed down sufficiently to be easily controllable by their public servant, mind-controlling government. Note the responses to this forum. Mostly they are one-liner statements of opinions, which are not backed up by anything but a vague idea of who they are, which has been conditioned into them by their public educational school system. With that flimsy shield of opinionated fluff, each of you would be laughed out of court and sent back to your jail cells to serve out your slave time until you paid off the ransom, the bail, the fines set upon you by black-robed bankers which overlook the activities of uniform corporate security, kidnappers, police, sheriff, slave overseers. Most of you are not even aware that you are presently considered by the courts to be wards of the state, that is, infants in the eyes of the law, and therefore are judged to be incapable of operating at full legal capacity, and thus must require a nanny lawyer to represent you. This first step into tyranny does not arise in fact of who you truly are, a living man or woman of the sovereign people, the true government, but rests upon the legal presumption that you are the surety, the guarantor for the debts of the government-created fiction, juristic person, created by government through the act of birth certification. You are owned by the government, by your present unrebutted 14th Amendment status, your identification with the juristic person, and or with your consent to be a subject of the corporation which calls itself government, and therefore you become subject to its corporate rules, regulations, and policies, which our present unconstitutional non-Article 3 courts declare as law, but are actually merely color of law. Look at your legal bills, your driver's license, your bank book, your library card. Your name is spelled in all capital letters, is it not? That is not you, the living, breathing, flesh and blood, sentient natural man or woman, who can feel, touch, and sense their body to see that they are living entities. What you are observing when you see the all-capital letter name in a fictional, non-living entity created by government. It's called a juristic person. That is the only person our present courts, as they presently are constituted, have actual jurisdiction over. Your mothers sold each of you into slavery, when, through her conditioned unawareness, at the hospital, at the time of your birth, signed a legal form, a contract, registering you as a juristic person created by the government. From that time until now, you have been deemed to be the property of the government, a human resource which they may use, abuse, and discard when you are of no further use to them and have, in their eyes, become a useless eater. You have fallen prey to the big lie and have been living it ever since. This simple truth is, the courts have no jurisdiction over any living, breathing, flesh and blood, sentient natural man or woman who has not committed a crime under God's law or common law, the essence of which is do no harm. Do not harm another. Do not harm another's property. Do not infringe upon another's rights, and you are free to do anything you wish. That is law, true law. Without a victim who has suffered harm by your hand and is willing to file a claim accompanied by affidavit, there is no crime committed in true law. People of America, you have been scammed. All of these victimless crimes which have put a stranglehold on the American slave population are based in contract law, which is not law at all, but corporate policies, rules, regulations which masquerade as law and require your consent to contract, to agree, to grant jurisdiction to the government, for them to have jurisdiction over you. In essence, the simple fact is that by your own consent you have agreed to your own arrest, prosecution, and incarceration by the present unconstitutional courts via their legal presumption of your present legal status. Change your legal status. Rescind all adhesion contracts imposed upon you by government through force, fear, intimidation, or lack of full disclosure of all terms of the contract at the time of entrance. Did your mother understand she was selling you into slavery when she registered your birth with the state? See what I mean? Each of you have the right to opt out of such contracts when you reach your majority, and understand that such contracts are not binding upon living and breathing men and women of the sovereign people. You are not the juristic person. If the court wants to prosecute the only one they have jurisdiction over because they created it, let them prosecute your birth certificate. Look the devil in the eye and give him his due.